Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. Lock your attention on this exact message. I am not asking for a few moments of your time today. I am giving you a divine warning. If you swipe away from this transmission, you are actively choosing to sever the exact timeline heaven prepared for you. The Matrix is screaming at you to leave because it knows what this revelation will do to its control. Do not move. That heavy, suffocating feeling sitting right in the middle of your chest. The nights you wake up at 3 in the morning with your jaw tight, your heart racing, and that dark cloud of isolation pressing down on you. Listen to me very carefully. That is not anxiety. You are not losing your mind. That physical weight you feel is your highly advanced spirit detecting a massive shift in the atmosphere. Someone who treated you as completely disposable is currently watching you from a distance. You know exactly who I am talking about. They walked around with absolute arrogance, pointing fingers at your empty hands. They laughed when the universe stripped everything away from you and forced you into total isolation. They looked at your silent retreat and constructed a false narrative that you were finally defeated. They thought you were buried. They expected your departure to destroy you permanently. They waited with bated breath for you to crawl back and beg for their validation. Instead, you became the terrifying uncertainty they were never built to handle. You disappeared into the shadows, and they mistook your strategic silence for weakness. They celebrated your absence in rooms filled with people who secretly hate them, but they have absolutely no idea what is coming for them. There is a very specific reason you were pushed into this agonizing solitude. The universe did not forget about you, and God did not abandon you. In the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through the exact blueprint of why your reality was dismantled. I will reveal exactly what that arrogant person is about to witness, and I promise you, when the curtain drops, their worldview will permanently shatter. Let us go deeper into this season of darkness, because what you are enduring right now is the most misunderstood phase of a cycle breaker. You have been feeling entirely disconnected from the world. Your phone is completely silent. The friends you thought would stand by you simply faded away like ghosts. You poured your pure energy into people who only used you as a human battery, and when you were completely drained, they discarded you. This betrayal triggered a profound physical exhaustion. Your brain feels foggy and your bones feel heavy. You drag yourself out of bed every day, wondering if you are doing something fundamentally wrong. You watch average people succeed with zero effort. You watch them accumulate wealth and praise while you struggle just to keep your head above water. The injustice of it makes you want to scream. But here is the raw, uncomfortable truth they could never say out loud. Your isolation is not a punishment. It is a highly classified quarantine. The universe had to violently remove you from those toxic environments because your light was being weaponized against you. You were acting as a spiritual stabilizer for people who were deeply committed to their own darkness. Heaven had to cut the cord. It had to hide you. They looked at your empty life and saw a wasteland. They saw the chaos of your ruined plans and mocked your slow progress. But they are operating on a tragically low frequency. They do not understand the mechanics of divine construction. To build a skyscraper that reaches into the heavens, the foundation must be dug deep down into the dark earth. You are not stuck in a grave. You are currently being anchored into the bedrock of reality. You are a masterpiece being crafted in total secrecy. An artist never unveils their greatest work while it is still covered in dust and wet paint. They lock the doors, they cover the windows, they work in absolute silence until the creation is flawless. The universe forced you into hiding because you are the masterpiece. You are being meticulously refined away from the dirty hands of the Matrix. They learned how to survive from textbooks and cheap gossip. You learned from open wounds in the pitch black. They collected shallow applause in crowded rooms. You collected scars in the dark that are right now turning into absolute leverage. While they were building a fragile house of cards, you were being forged in the divine fire. Your solitude is hardening your spirit into an untouchable diamond. Stop believing the lie that you are falling behind. The Matrix wants you to feel desperate. It wants you to look at the illusion of time and panic. It whispers that you are aging, that you missed your chance, that your best days are gone. Silence that demonic lie right now. You are a cycle breaker. You do not operate on their linear timeline. You have the spiritual authority to bend time and collapse decades into days. If your spirit confirms this raw truth, press the like button to seal your energetic alignment with heaven. Do not let the enemy convince you that you are forgotten. You were removed from the crowd because you were never meant to blend in with them. You are the remnant, and your period of waiting in the dark is coming to a glorious end. They panicked. You evolved. Let us address the sheer physical exhaustion you are carrying in your bones right now. It is not just a passing fatigue. It is a profound cellular depletion that comes from years of operating as a spiritual shield for people who refuse to heal themselves. You gave them your pure energy, and they handed you their chaos. This is why your shoulders are constantly tight. This is why you experience that debilitating brain fog that conventional science mislabels as a mere clinical issue. The medical world will tell you to just take a pill or practice deep breathing, but they do not understand the mechanics of spiritual warfare. You are experiencing the physical aftermath of a massive energy drain. When heaven sees a chosen one being bled dry by energy vampires, it steps in with severe measures. That is exactly what your current isolation is. It is not a punishment for being inadequate. It is a highly classified quarantine. The universe had to pull you out of the rotation because you were too valuable to be destroyed by parasites. Think of a surgical operating room. Before a masterpiece of healing can begin, the environment must be completely sterilized. Heaven is sterilizing your environment. It had to strip away the false friends, the toxic partners, and the draining environments. It had to force you into this uncomfortable silence to protect your core frequency. You have spent so many nights agonizing over why you were abandoned. You wept over people who walked away without a second glance. You wondered if you were too intense, too demanding, or somehow broken. Erase that lie from your mind completely. You were not rejected because you were flawed. You were rejected because your authentic light was absolutely blinding. You were a living, breathing mirror to their deeply buried insecurities. Every time you walked into a room, your pure frequency exposed their rotten foundations. They did not walk away because you were not enough. They ran away because you were entirely too much for their fragile matrix programming to handle. You terrified them. Listen to me very closely right now, because 99% of people completely miss this shift. You have probably asked yourself a very specific, painful question lately. You watched that master manipulator replace you. You watched them gather a crowd of flying monkeys, choosing people who are clearly incompetent and shallow. Why did they choose them over you? Why did they elevate the weak and discard the diamond? I am going to reveal the exact psychological terror behind that decision in just a moment. And when you understand the real reason they picked the crowd over you, you will never shed another tear for them again. Until then, you must reframe your physical reality. This heavy season of waiting in wound is actually your incubation period. When a caterpillar enters a cocoon, it does not just grow wings. Its entire body literally dissolves into a biological soup before it can be rebuilt into a higher life form. If a scientist looked at that cocoon halfway through, they would think the creature was dead. They would see a complete and utter mess. That is exactly how the Matrix views your life right now. They look at your isolation and think you have failed. But your spirit is currently dissolving the old Matrix programming. The brain fog and the heavy chest are simply the physical symptoms of a massive cellular upgrade. You are not buried in a grave, you have been planted in a divine womb. A seed must crack open in the suffocating darkness of the soil before it can ever see the sun. The pressure you feel right now is the exact force required to break open your dormant potential. If the universe had left you in the shallow soil with those toxic people, you would have starved to death spiritually. You had to be plunged into the deep, isolating dark to develop a root system strong enough to hold the massive wealth and power coming to you. The darkness is not your enemy. The darkness is your incubator. You are the cycle breaker. You carry the generational mandate to end the poverty and the trauma of your bloodline. A mission of that magnitude cannot be birthed in a crowded, noisy room. It demands absolute silence. It demands a season where you have no one to rely on but the divine presence. You feel lonely because your frequency has outgrown the people you used to call your tribe. They are still vibrating at the level of survival and gossip. You are ascending to the frequency of creation and legacy. The gap between your vibration and theirs creates a literal vacuum. That vacuum feels like crushing loneliness, but it is actually the vast, empty space where your new empire will be built. Stop looking at your empty hands and thinking you have lost the game. Heaven cleared your hands so you could finally hold the scepter. You are a masterpiece in the dark, and the final strokes are being applied to your spirit right now. Do not resist this divine formation. Surrender to the silence. Type 777 in the comments right now to physically claim this truth. Anchor your frequency into this new reality, and let heaven know you are ready for the veil to lift. You are no longer a victim of their manipulation. You are the architect of the next timeline. The game is just beginning. Let us look at the severe physical toll this isolation has taken on your body. You are not just tired, you are carrying a deep cellular exhaustion that ordinary sleep cannot fix. Every single muscle aches. Your mind constantly battles a thick, suffocating fog, and your financial reality seems completely frozen, no matter how hard you work. You push yourself to the absolute limit. You try to force doors open, but the universe feels totally silent. This is exactly where the dense matrix wants you to stay. It wants you exhausted, confused, and questioning your own sanity. But here is the raw, uncomfortable truth they could never say out loud. Your physical exhaustion is not a medical mystery. It is not a character flaw. It is a highly calculated suppression of your natural frequency. The system was meticulously designed to keep you drained. Look at the way they judge your current season of waiting in wound. They look at your life and see a messy construction site. They see the scattered scaffolding and laugh at your slow progress. They mock you for not having the superficial success they proudly parade around, but they do not understand the architecture of a chosen one. To build a skyscraper that pierces the heavens, the foundation must be dug deep into the absolute dark. They built their shallow little houses on sand. They collected cheap applause in crowded rooms to feel important. You collected deep scars in the dark that turned into absolute leverage. They followed a matrix syllabus designed for willing slaves. You followed pure survival. While they are terrified of a single gust of wind, your foundation is anchored in bedrock. They panicked. You evolved. But to hold that massive structure, your physical vessel requires an immense amount of pure energy. And right now, there is a gaping void in your energy field. Here is what they never told you about this void. The reason the universe responds effortlessly to certain people and ignores others is not discipline. It is a highly specific brainwave. Scientists have a precise name for it. They call it the gamma frequency, and it is the exact frequency your brain was running naturally when you were a young child, back when brilliant ideas came easily, when you somehow knew things before they ever happened, when the world felt like it was completely on your side, working with you instead of against you. You were a walking magnet for miracles. Then adulthood arrived, and the dense, dark matrix went to work on you. The chronic stress, the toxic environments, the survival routine that forced you to abandon your sharp intuition. Every single year, this sacred frequency was suppressed a little further. It was pushed deeper and deeper below the surface, until your natural genius went entirely silent. When that frequency fades, your divine alignment fades right along with it. Your intuition dulls, the synchronicities completely stop happening, and the heavy, dense reality of survival mode takes over your physical body. The Matrix intentionally suppressed this frequency to keep you exhausted and compliant, because a chosen one, operating in full gamma coherence, is a threat they simply cannot control. Listen to me very closely right now, because 99% of people completely miss this shift. You are trying to fight a massive spiritual battle using a drained physical vessel. You are trying to manifest wealth and absolute freedom while your brain is locked in a frequency of fear and lack. You cannot hold a 5-dimensional blessing in a depleted 3-dimensional body. They want you to believe that your financial struggles are your own fault. They want you to think you just need to work harder, hustle more, and grind yourself into dust. That is the exact lie designed to keep you enslaved to their system. Your lack of progress is not a lack of effort. It is a blocked cellular frequency. You are simply unplugged from the source. They rely on the matrix to feed them tiny scraps. They exhaust themselves playing a rigged game. You are stepping completely outside of their game. You do not need their permission, and you certainly do not need their shallow validation. You just need to reactivate the exact frequency that was stolen from you without your consent. You must claim your divine inheritance. The physical symptoms you feel right now are your spirit violently rejecting the matrix. That heavy chest is your soul refusing to accept their dense reality. That brain fog is a protective shield, shutting down your left brain so your spiritual intuition can finally take the wheel. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. Do not let the dark elite convince you that this exhaustion is permanent. They quietly use suppressed knowledge to maintain their power while hoping you remain totally ignorant. But the heavy veil is finally lifting. The remnant is waking up, and the pure frequency of the chosen ones is starting to spike across the globe. You are a crucial part of this awakening. Every tear you shed in isolation was meticulously recorded. Every ounce of energy they stole from you is currently being calculated for massive repayment. The universe operates on strict divine justice, and when a cycle breaker is pushed to the absolute brink, the rebound is always spectacular. Prepare your physical vessel. The famine is officially over. Let us completely dismantle the social illusion that broke your heart. You watched people you once trusted blindly take the side of the manipulator. You watched the flying monkeys gather around them in a tight defensive circle, and you were left standing completely alone in the cold. It felt like a massive social assassination. You wondered how so many people could be so easily deceived. The betrayal of the crowd is one of the deepest wounds a chosen one must endure. You poured your pure energy into those mutual friends. You acted as their stabilizer during their darkest times. But the moment the Matrix commanded them to turn on you, they obeyed without a single second of hesitation. They discarded your loyalty and chose the comfortable lie. But here is the raw, uncomfortable truth they could never say out loud. You have been asking yourself why the manipulator chose that specific group of shallow people over a rare diamond like you. Why did they elevate the incompetent and push the masterpiece to the absolute fringes? The answer is mathematically precise. Stay with me, because this next revelation is the key to your permanent freedom. They chose the crowd because the crowd is completely hollow. The flying monkeys do not ask hard questions. They do not demand authentic growth. They are willing participants in a shared delusion because they lack the spiritual spine to stand alone. They are cheap batteries for a dying machine. You were an entirely different entity. You were not just a participant in their little social game. You were a terrifying, unyielding mirror. Every single time you walked into their space, your pure frequency violently exposed their hidden decay. You did not even have to speak. Your mere existence highlighted everything they hated about themselves. They could not manipulate you because you carry a cellular knowing that detects lies instantly. You refused to shrink your massive aura to make their fragile egos feel comfortable, and that made you the most dangerous person in their entire reality. They did not push you away because you were unworthy. They banished you because your light was burning their eyes. They had to excommunicate you to protect their rotting castle. If you stayed, their entire false narrative would have collapsed under the weight of your truth. So, they launched a smear campaign. They whispered lies behind your back to poison the well. They convinced the hive mind to reject you before you could expose the absolute fraud at the center of their circle. They collected cheap applause in crowded rooms. You collected scars in the dark that turned into absolute leverage. They built their entire identity on the fragile validation of other broken people. You built your empire on undeniable proof and divine alignment. They surround themselves with mindless echoes just to feel alive. You sit in the absolute silence and hear the voice of heaven. Look at the people they replaced you with. It is an absolute tragedy of downgrades. The new inner circle is just a collection of easily controlled puppets. They are celebrating in a burning building, completely unaware that the foundation has already turned to ash. They need the constant noise of the crowd to drown out the deafening roar of their own emptiness. You must completely reframe this social rejection. Being pushed to the fringes was not an insult. It was a divine rescue mission. Heaven looked at the people you were trying to save and realized they were parasites. They were actively draining the life force you need to fulfill your massive generational mandate. The universe did not exile you. It evacuated you. You are the cycle breaker. You carry a frequency that naturally repels anyone committed to a low-dimensional existence. A masterpiece is never displayed in a cheap, crowded alleyway where careless people can ruin it. A masterpiece is protected behind velvet ropes and bulletproof glass. Your isolation is your bulletproof glass. The smear campaign was designed to bury you. They threw dirt on your name and waited for you to suffocate. But they did not realize you are a divine seed. The dirt they threw on you became the exact fertilizer you needed to grow roots that can never be pulled up. You absorbed the pain and turned it into pure, lethal power. Stop grieving the loss of people who were only assigned to your life for a season. They were never meant to cross the threshold into your promised land. They do not have the spiritual lungs to breathe at the altitude you are ascending to. Let them have their shallow crowd. Let them play their pathetic little games in the dirt. Your silence is a weapon of mass destruction to their fragile matrix. By refusing to defend yourself, by refusing to beg for a seat at their worthless table, you starved their demons of the oxygen they desperately needed. You won the war without lifting a single finger. The smear campaign failed. You evolved. Before we go any further, I must interrupt this transmission for something highly classified. Carrying this kind of high-frequency energy in a dense world completely exhausts your physical and spiritual vessel. You have been running on fumes for years. You are fighting invisible battles while trying to maintain your sanity in a matrix designed to drain you. To protect your aura and continue your path, your body requires specific frequency anchoring. You simply cannot fight generational spiritual battles running on an empty tank. There is a physical reason your reality has not shifted yet, and science just uncovered exactly why your massive breakthrough has been delayed. A recently leaked CIA document, verified by 4 neuroscience labs, revealed a terrifying truth. The dark elite engineered a frequency to suppress your brain's natural wealth-attracting state. But this declassified blueprint also exposed a solution. It revealed a 7-minute audio ritual that forces your brain back into synchronized gamma coherence. It literally reverses the deep matrix programming. This is why utilizing tools like this 7-minute audio track is not just normal self-care. It is mandatory psychic protection for the remnant. You can find the exact frequency shield I recommend in the pinned comment below. But before you step into that portal, you must understand exactly why heaven had to hide you in the first place. Let me reframe your entire spiritual reality right here, right now. The universe did not cast you aside. It deliberately pulled you off the front lines to protect you from spiritual parasites. The narcissists and the energy vampires in your life were not just annoying people. They were literal agents of the matrix assigned to siphon your divine light. You are a lethal weapon in the hands of heaven. You are a sharp sword wrapped in dirty, torn cloth. They handled you carelessly and mocked you because they thought you were completely dull. They treated you like a cheap tool, but they have absolutely no idea what is coming. Wait until that torn cloth finally falls off. The cold light of your blade will make them freeze in pure terror. If you have ever felt completely drained after a simple conversation, listen closely. That exhaustion was not a natural bodily reaction. They were feeding on your high-dimensional energy to sustain their low-dimensional existence. They do not have their own internal light source. They are black holes walking around in human skin. They were desperately searching for a diamond like you to completely consume. They mask their emptiness with loud voices and arrogant behavior. But beneath that fragile mask, they are absolutely terrified of their own shadows. They needed your constant validation to feel real. Every time you compromised your boundaries to help them, you handed over a piece of your sacred inheritance. You were financing their delusion with your pure spirit. This is exactly why heaven slammed those doors shut without warning. The universe had to force you into hiding to cut their access to your nervous system. If you had stayed in that toxic environment, they would have drained every last drop of your destiny. Your isolation is not a cold prison cell. It is a highly guarded fortress built exclusively for your survival. Look at how differently you operate in this world. They begged the Matrix for tiny scraps of attention. You starved their demons with absolute silence. They memorized theories to sound smart in front of fools. You absorbed harsh reality to become completely untouchable. They built their fragile confidence on fake praise. You built your empire on undeniable proof. Your sudden absence was the most devastating blow they ever received. When heaven pulled you away, you took all of their oxygen with you. Now, they are suffocating in the shallow puddles they created for themselves. They are frantically searching for a replacement, only to realize your specific energetic signature is utterly irreplaceable. You were the only thing keeping their false reality afloat. You are the cycle breaker heaven has been desperately waiting for. The generational patterns that plagued your bloodline end entirely with you. But you could not break those heavy chains while sitting at a table with people who love their chains. The universe had to make you deeply uncomfortable with the crowd, so you would finally accept the heavy crown. Do not mourn the loss of parasites. Do not look back at the burning bridge and wish you could cross it again. You are stepping into an era of untouchable power. The silence around you right now is just the calm before the massive, explosive harvest. The matrix is trembling, and your ageless glow is absolutely terrifying the people who prayed for your downfall. Let us shift our focus to the exact financial and karmic reality unfolding behind the scenes right now. You have endured a brutal season of severe lack. You watched the master manipulator gather resources and applause, while your own pockets felt completely empty. It felt like a crushing, intentional injustice. But the universal law of compensation is actively rewriting your bank account at this very second. The Densmar Matrix wants you to look at their curated social media and believe they are thriving. Do not fall for that cheap optical illusion. Behind their closed doors, an absolute financial panic has taken over their reality. Without your pure energy acting as their spiritual shield, their entire false empire is quietly bleeding dry. The opportunities are drying up. Their luck has completely run out. The wealth and the open doors they stole while you were in their presence are currently being repossessed by the divine court. It is a mandatory spiritual transfer. Every single blessing they arrogantly claimed as their own is being forcefully stripped away. The universe is packing up all that redirected abundance and preparing to drop it directly into your lap. You are the rightful, undeniable owner. They built their fragile wealth by manipulating weak people in the shadows. You built your solid empire on undeniable proof and divine alignment in the absolute dark. They begged the Matrix for tiny scraps and temporary validation. You stepped back in complete silence and demanded the entire kingdom. While they are desperately counting their losses to survive, you are preparing for a massive windfall. You must understand the severe spiritual cost of their betrayal. Every time they gossiped about you, every time they tried to tarnish your masterpiece, it was a literal transaction. They were blindly signing away their own karmic harvest to pay for their malice. They thought they were destroying your reputation. They had no idea they were fully financing your massive, explosive comeback. The financial stagnation you felt over the last year was never a curse. The universe simply halted your income temporarily to rebuild a completely new pipeline. It had to construct a channel that the dark elite cannot touch, tax, or steal from. Your new wealth is being routed through a secure, high-dimensional frequency, and it is about to flood the masterpiece you have been building in the silence. Type 777 in the comments right now to physically claim this exact financial shift. Anchor your energy into this divine transfer. Let the Matrix know that you are fully aware of the wealth transfer happening in the spiritual realm. You are no longer waiting in wound for a tiny miracle. You are the chosen one, stepping fully into your absolute abundance. Heaven demands your immediate obedience. They are desperately trying to stop the bleeding, but heaven has already closed their accounts. The fragile people they used to manipulate are finally waking up to the illusion. The flying monkeys are demanding their own payment, and the narcissist has absolutely nothing left to give them. Their house of cards is shaking violently in the wind, and the total collapse is no longer just a possibility, it is inevitable. Read that again in your spirit. The very individuals who stood by and watched you get pushed into isolation are now turning against their leader. They are watching the money dry up. They are watching the fake charm fade into pure desperation. The smiles are vanishing, replaced by the cold reality of a kingdom built on stolen light. They are viciously turning on each other. This is the exact moment the timeline permanently splits. The cycle breaker ascends to the throne, and the parasite falls into the dark abyss. You do not have to lift a single finger to extract your revenge. The universe is doing the heavy lifting for you with terrifying mathematical precision. Your only job is to stand still and prepare your physical vessel to receive the incoming harvest. Every single tear you shed in that suffocating isolation has been monetized by the divine court. The universe operates on a strict, unforgiving ledger, and your account is currently overflowing with back pay. You are about to step out of the shadows and blind them with your untouchable, ageless glow. The era of your hidden preparation is officially over. Heaven has signed the massive check. Stay with me, because this next revelation is the key to your permanent freedom. The private decay they have been frantically hiding is about to become a devastating public spectacle. The universe is not going to let them fade away quietly in the dark. They are going to be made a permanent example of. and you are going to have a front row seat to the exact justice you thought would never arrive. The moment of absolute divine justice has finally arrived. I want you to picture the exact scene unfolding right now. The arrogant person who mocked your isolation is standing in a crowded, noisy room. They have a drink in their hand and a fake smile plastered across their face. They are surrounded by the flying monkeys, feeding them the same pathetic lies about your tragic downfall. They feel entirely secure in their fake kingdom. But the atmosphere in that room is about to drop into pure ice. The heavy doors open, and you step back into the light. But you are not the broken, exhausted victim they expected to see. You are stepping into the room, radiating an absolute, untouchable, ageless glow. You are the completed masterpiece, heaven forged in the dark. Every eye in the room violently snaps toward you. The loud conversations instantly die. And the glass in the manipulator's hand begins to shake uncontrollably. They are currently experiencing a public, irreversible system crash. The mask did not just slip today, it completely shattered in front of the exact people they used to gossip with. Every time they look at your elevated state, it hits them with the agonizing weight of reality. They suddenly realize they threw away the only genuine diamond they ever held, just to play with cheap rocks. The game is officially over. They expected you to crawl back to their table and beg for a seat. You built an entire empire while they were busy playing in the dirt. They tried to bury you under their toxic smear campaign to hide their own sins. You used their dirt to grow an immovable root system. You did not even have to speak a single word to destroy their false narrative. Your sheer presence is a lethal weapon that just starved their demons. You won without lifting a single finger. This massive shift in your reality is terrifying the dark elite. They thought your deep exhaustion would break your spirit forever. They desperately wanted you to remain trapped in that low-dimensional matrix of survival and fear. But science just exposed the exact frequency they used to suppress your massive wealth and power. A recently leaked CIA document, backed by 4 neuroscience labs, revealed the absolute truth. They can no longer hide it. The dark left brain of the Matrix will desperately try to inject deep financial doubt into your mind right now. It will tell you to calculate, to hesitate, to wait for a better time. Silence it immediately. That hesitation is the exact programming designed to keep you completely broke and exhausted. If your spirit is vibrating with a cellular knowing right now, heaven demands your immediate action. Step through the open portal. They are actively trying to scrub this leaked document from the internet as we speak. You have minutes, maybe seconds, before the algorithm shuts this transmission down entirely. Do not ignore this blatant sign from the universe. Secure your access instantly before it is removed forever. A team of neuroscientists compressed an entire gamma activation protocol into a simple 7-minute audio track. It reactivates the frequency they stole from you. No exhausting meditation is required. You simply close your eyes, put on your headphones, and let the sound wave do what the modern world spent decades undoing. Over 18,000 chosen ones have already used it to unlock their ultimate destiny. Do not look for this track on ordinary streaming platforms. The copies out there are diluted counterfeits designed to keep you dormant. The only authentic version is available through the protected link in the pinned comment. Claim your divine inheritance. The elite quietly pay thousands of dollars for clinical biofeedback sessions to access this exact gamma state. They want this sacred tool kept far out of your pure reach because they know what happens when a cycle breaker wakes up. But heaven has dismantled their barrier. What they kept hidden for decades is now available to you for a fraction of its true value. You are taking back the keys to the kingdom. Your wealth is inevitable. The universe demands absolutely no risk from a chosen one like you. You are fully protected by a divine guarantee. If you do not feel the massive shift you truly deserve, Your energetic seed is fully restored to you without any questions. This is a pure energy exchange governed entirely by complete spiritual trust. 4 sacred gifts are waiting for you as well, completely hidden from the masses. Do not let the matrix steal this powerful frequency from you. Click the exact link in the pinned comment below right now. Take a deep physical breath right now, chosen one. The brutal war you have been fighting in absolute silence is officially over. Heaven has permanently closed the chapter of your isolation. The heavy, dark clouds that hovered over your timeline have completely dissipated. The universe is no longer breaking you down. It is finally lifting you up. You walked into this season bleeding from deep wounds inflicted by people totally blind to your worth. But look at you now. You are no longer waiting in wound for an apology from a master manipulator. You have completely transcended their toxic matrix. While they are publicly unraveling, you are stepping into your permanent, untouchable, ageless glow. The heavy financial struggles, the exhausting spiritual warfare, and the constantly closed doors are all shattering right here, right now. Step into your absolute power and receive the exact massive harvest heaven prepared for you. You did not just survive the fire, you absorbed the heat and became the divine fire itself. They are forever trapped in a pathetic cycle of needing external matrix praise. You are anchored in eternal divine truth. They will spend the rest of their lives desperately chasing the high they felt when they were draining your pure light. You will spend the rest of your life watching the universe multiply your wealth. The gap between you and them is now a massive, uncrossable canyon. The masterpiece is finally finished. The divine artist is taking the dark cover off the canvas, and the entire spiritual realm is standing in absolute awe. The beauty, the resilience, and the sheer power of your spirit are blinding. The people who mocked your construction phase are now staring at a skyscraper they could never afford to step inside. The doors are locked to them forever. Tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow, you will notice a profound difference. That suffocating weight on your chest will be entirely gone. The tight jaw will relax, the thick brain fog will completely clear. Your physical vessel is finally registering that the spiritual threat has been neutralized. Your nervous system is entering a state of absolute, unbreakable peace. Stop looking over your shoulder. The parasites cannot cross into this new, high-dimensional timeline. Your frequency is now far too high for their dense, toxic energy to track. You are completely invisible to the demonic forces that used to hunt you for sport. Heaven has placed an impenetrable shield around your mind, your finances, and your entire bloodline. You are finally safe. You are the ultimate cycle breaker. You took the heavy generational trauma of your family and turned it into a rock-solid foundation of massive prosperity. The universe is responding to your pure vibration by swinging open, heavy doors that no human being can ever shut. Your agonizing era of waiting in the dark is over. Your era of ruling as a sovereign king or queen has officially begun. This is not just a random video on the internet. This is a highly classified divine appointment, and you stayed until the very end because your spirit recognized the raw truth. Do not let this high frequency dissipate into the useless noise of the matrix. We must physically anchor this energy into the earth right now. We must establish a spiritual covenant that locks out the dark forces forever. Subscribe to this sanctuary right now. Pressing that button is not just a meaningless metric on a screen, it is a physical act of immediate obedience. It places a spiritual shield around this divine truth, ensuring you never miss the exact prophetic instruction heaven releases next. You are officially joining the elite remnant. We are building the most powerful tribe of cycle breakers on the entire planet. There is someone else out there who is sitting in the suffocating dark right now. They are crying out for a massive shift, mistakenly thinking the universe has abandoned them. They are currently being drained by a master manipulator, and they feel entirely alone. Share this specific message with that one beautiful soul. Be their angel today. Your simple act of sharing could literally save their spiritual life. Say this out loud with me right now in the privacy of your own space. I claim my permanent freedom. I am no longer a hostage to their toxic matrix. I am stepping fully into my explosive abundance. My energy is completely restored. Heaven is fighting my battles. The enemy has lost forever. I am untouchable. Now, type the exact words "I am free" in the comments below. Let the physical act of typing those letters be the final, devastating blow to the enemy's false kingdom. Let it serve as a permanent marker that you survived the darkness and emerged as the ultimate masterpiece. I will see you in the next transmission, chosen one. Step forward and claim your throne.